A momentous day.
A momentous day and a very sad day, yes.
We've just seen, tributes flowing with flowers outside Buckingham Palace, of course, a lot more empty than it would have been due to the pandemic. Huge amounts of online messages, condolences from world leaders. We're actually standing by now to take us live to our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, here in Australia. We've also seen one statement issued from Harry and Meghan a couple of hours after Prince Philip's passing. Have we heard from other members of the royal family?
No, my understanding is that they are all, lining up behind the Queen's statement, and I'm sure we will hear from them in due course. A lot of them did interviews with the BBC and ITV prior to the Duke of Edinburgh's death, and their sentiments are coming out in those interviews. They're very beautiful interviews, actually.
Juliet, I'd love to get your snapshot of Prince Philip, having worked in this space for so many years. An extraordinary life that began as a boy in Corfu, fought in the war. It was very difficult as a young man, and he's been such a rock for the Queen.
Yes, he has. I mean, he was a man of contradictions, because many people think of him as an outsider going into the House of Windsor, and yet we look at him and think of him as that man of duty, that man of honour, who stood by the Queen, who was the perfect Prince consort. But, he really was separated from his family in his youth. He didn't come through the normal ranks that the members of the royal family had come through. He went to Gordonston School in Scotland, which really made him. This was this experimental school at the time, put a great deal of emphasis on life in the outdoors and personal development. He sent his own sons to that school, and that really made him this man of action. He then joined the Navy, and that would have been his life for much longer, I think, if of course, the King George did not die, George VI, so early, and put his wife on the throne so early. But then, he had to give all of that up and literally stand two steps behind his wife for the rest of his life, which would have been very difficult for a man of his era and a man of his passion and energy. He made very well of that, I think. It took him a while to find his feet, but then he found an awful lot of passions in his job. I think his conservation passion is very interesting. He was a founder in the World Wildlife Fund, the founding patron in 1961. He was very ahead of his field in that area. We think of his son, Prince Charles, as being ahead of his field, but his father was there first. And it was at his father's knee that Prince Charles learnt his passion for conservation, for nature, for saving the planet.